Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. 87 million Americans have no health insurance or are underinsured. 45 million people are struggling with student debt. 500,000 people tonight are sleeping out on the street, including 30,000 veterans. That is not an economy that's working for the American people. That's an economy working for the 1%.
Wow, what a goat rodeo. Much of the same, but last night, Bernie Sanders got to feel what it's like to be the front runner. They turned up the heat on Bernie for a little while. They did. And if you listen to that, America's doomed. I watched some of this stuff, and I'm like, man, America's doomed. It is. America's doomed, but it's not. It's not. We have too many people sleeping in the streets? Absolutely. We have a lot of problems, though, with certain areas of the country that are fine with people sleeping in the streets, have made it a super big political issue. And a lot of those people in the streets have mental illness and drug addiction. And even if you put them in a place, wouldn't matter. Not going to help. Everybody's living paycheck to paycheck. Everything's gone to hell in a handbasket. It is so funny. One side, who depending on what who's in power, man, one side that glass is half full, and the other side the glass is half empty. And if the power shift dynamic switched around, it would be the same. Oh my God, now our glass is half full, and they'll be like, oh, but theirs is half empty. It was a goat rodeo last night. It was an absolute goat rodeo, and big problem. I say this, and I over and over again. I want everybody to understand this. How these things play themselves out on stage in front of the world. How they play themselves out is dependent not upon the candidates themselves, but the moderators. And last night, CBS sucked. Gayle King and them were awful. That's the best way to describe it. The wheels came off early, and they came off often, and at some point in time, you had to say to yourself, this is what you guys are allowing to happen? This is it? At the end of the day, what do we have? Nothing's changed. Bernie's still the front runner. Next Tuesday, this time next week. So 1 week from today, you will be awakening. You're like, Super Tuesday will be over. 1,357 delegates will have been handed out to several different candidates. But Bernie's in a position right now to grab a majority of those. He's going to win California. That's coming. That is a huge, massive haul for him. So he's going to win California. What else does he win? Well, does he win Texas? It's possible. Colorado? Don't know. But if you win California and Texas, all the rest of it, at that point in time, I mean, you're looking at 415 delegates right there. They're going to hand him out in everybody's going to get a little chunk, but if he gets enough, how are you stopping him? How are you stopping a guy that continues to double down on China being, look at how they've done so great with poverty and brought people out of poverty, and look at, all the good things that some of these people in the past have done, ignoring all of the things that they did while in control and in power. Is that it? It's possible. It's absolutely possible. And I continue to ask, as does everybody else, how you paying for all the stuff? Because that's his go-to in every scenario. That's his go-to. Medicare for all. Everybody. Well, everybody's going to get free stuff. We're going to eliminate this. We're going to do that. And we're talking about social justice, and it's a revolution. And that is very real. I've got friends who are uber progressive. Like, man, I hear him talk, and he scares me. He scares me. He does. I get that. But did anybody do enough last night to stop him? I don't think so.
Guaranteeing health care to all people as a human right through a Medicare for all single-payer system.
I can't allow this to stand because it's just not true. Senator Sanders has got people believing something that is untrue about my campaign.
Yeah, they fought it out. Last night, I thought Buttigieg did really well. I thought he came at Bernie, and like a lot of people, he called some BS out there that needed to be called when it comes to so much of this stuff. I mean, some of this stuff that you know, Bernie is like, every time I turn around, there's a new study. And you're just like, okay, what's this new study say about this? How much is this? What is this here? What's this going to cost? Nobody knows what it's going to cost. And that's terrifying. That is terrifying. Nobody knows what this thing's going to cost? No. Well, it could be this. It could be that. Don't know. Could be this. I don't really know what the number is. I'm sick of people asking me. Well, we want to know. I don't think anybody, though, at this moment in time is in a position that it's going to change a lot. And I'm telling you guys, Saturday will be huge. Saturday will be if he wins Saturday, that momentum will carry him into Super Tuesday. Because remember, we're a front-running group of people, right? We're a front-running group of people. And people will start to say, well, I don't think Biden can do it. I don't think Buttigieg can do it. No to Warren and Steyer and all. No, so I don't think any of these people really have it. So I'm going to have to toss my support to, in this case, it'll be Bernie. Okay. If that's it. But is everybody prepared for that? You know, I'm one of the few out there that's screaming, he can win this thing. A lot of people are like, no, once socialism gets on. I'm a person that continues to say that. But I will tell you what, understand what the cost of this thing is going to be if he ever had a chance to implement any of these. And he's got a two-phase prong attack of the way that he's going to come at this when it comes to how he wants to implement it, which is essentially get people on the streets every single day marching and arguing and coming after the people that won't get behind his ideas. But what's it cost?
Let's do some math. Senator Sanders at one point said it was going to be $40 trillion, then it was 30, then it was 17. It's an incredible shrinking price tag. At some point has said it is unknowable to even see what the price tag would be. Now there are new numbers going. I'll tell you exactly what it adds up. It adds up to 4 more years of Donald Trump and the inability to get the Senate into Democratic hands. The time has come for us to stop acting like the presidency is the only office that matters. Not only is this a way to get Donald Trump reelected, we got a House to worry about. We got a Senate to worry about.
And I've said that over and over, that, and Pete's echoing what a lot of people who live and breathe and eat politics understand, that having Bernie on the ticket, make it Bernie in position and maybe even get him into the White House. But it may also ensure that down ballot, because of the fear of what Bernie may do, may see people in tight races not come out on the victorious side for the Democrats, and other people who thought that they were going to win lose. And then all of a sudden you may hand back the House and the Senate, because that's the way we like to check things. That's the way we like to check things. But Bernie was cantankerous. He knew everybody was coming, and he was somewhat of a force to be reckoned with. But it's the same thing over and over. And my question is, and it's a question that everybody should ask, What's it going to cost? Okay, Bernie, great. You want to start a revolution. You want to burn everything down. You want to get rid of all of this stuff. You want to make government the central being to everybody's life. You want to make everybody dependent upon a government, whether you do okay or you're poor. You want to make government the overriding factor in everybody's life. What does it cost? Because the cost of things will be going up. The money you'll be bringing home is going down, and the bills that you have that may be fixed, those aren't changing. So how do you pay for it? Because I've seen some of the stuff that you rolled out on your website. And by the way, I've done some of the math, and you're nowhere near where it needs to be. That means other things are coming because you've run out of other people's money. So when you run out of other people's money, you need to take everybody's money. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Car Shield. Love it. Talking earlier about cars. So I'm not super I like cars, but to me, it was never one of those things where I needed a brand new car all the time. So I always say I only buy used vehicles. And when you buy a used vehicle, what do you get? Well, you get no warranty. So Car Shield comes in. Car Shield is awesome. So I have an older car that's got some miles on it, right? But it has no electronic stuff as far as the widgets and the GPS and there's none of that stuff. I got a newer car, has all that stuff. Right? Still a used car, though. Both of them are covered by Car Shield. Plans starting as low as $99 a month. Absolutely incredible. Here's what you get with all the plans. You ready? 24/7 roadside assistance. A rental car for free while your car's in the shop, and the shop is the shop that you choose. They get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible. So whether it's something newer or a little bit older, you call them, 800-CAR-6000. Use my code Benson to save 10%. Tell them exactly what it is that you're looking for. They've got a plan that fits your budget and that's right for you and your vehicle. Call them today. 800-CAR-6000. Mention code Benson. That's 800-CAR-6000. Code Benson saves you 10%. Or visit carshield.com. Carshield.com saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where the sensible center hangs out. Hey, you! That doesn't mean you can put your feet up on the table.
You're despicable.
This is Chad Benson.
Bernie, in fact, hasn't passed much of anything. The fact of the matter is...
But I get to answer that. I get to answer that.
Look, the fact is... Here's the deal. I'm not out of time. You spoke over time, and I'm going to talk. Here's the deal. The fact of the matter is... Look at what's happening here.
It wasn't the first time. The end of the thing, too, he was going like, you're done. He goes, no, I'm not stopping. Everybody else goes overtime. I'm going overtime. You know who doesn't? Bloomberg. We're talking about that up there. Bloomberg just starts talking, and then he stops. And that's it. It's like, here's what I'm going to do. Da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Okay. He's an interesting character, Bloomberg. And you don't know, he did way better. It was much improved. At the end of the day, though, is it enough? Is that money enough to take him through Super Tuesday and continue to battle on? That's a very real question. But they asked him all kinds of stuff, including about obesity.
Mayor Bloomberg, as mayor of New York, you declared war on obesity. You banned trans fats from restaurants, and you tried to do the same with large sugary drinks. So if you become president, will you push those policies on the national level as well?
Well, I think what's right for New York City isn't necessarily right for all the other cities. But I do think it's the government's job to have good science and to explain to people what science says, how to take care of themselves and extend their lives. We are a country where there are too many people that are obese. We should do something about that.
Yeah. Right. But no, that's not the government's job. It's like last night, Klobuchar, she talked about her mentor. And she said, my mentor said that government should make people's lives better. No, that's not government's job. Government's job is to do its job. Secure our borders. Build the roads. Educate, because why? We're paying taxes and you guys are, supposed to be out there educating the kids. because that's what we're paying for. Your job isn't to make our life better. That should be up to us. Same thing with obesity, right? Everybody knows what you should and shouldn't eat, right? Everybody knows that. And some people just don't care. A lot of people in this country just don't care. They overeat, they drink too much, they do all kinds of stuff. Everybody's been guilty of it. By and large, everybody at some point in time. Some people, though, never stop. But it's not the government's job, even though it cost us a ton of money. Speaking of eating, you guys seen a great article yesterday. So they did all this stuff in India, right, for Trump. So there's all this stuff in India for Trump as far as food, because, you know, he likes his hamburgers. He likes his steaks. He likes all of these things. They do all this stuff in India for Trump. And they said he didn't eat any of the food in certain areas. He just didn't do it. And they also talked about the fact that this is a great article. They talk about the fact that he has a diet of a 5-year-old. His doctor said his genes are incredible. He would live to be 200 years old if he wasn't mainlining junk food. He has to be tricked into eating vegetables, stuff that wasn't deep fried or sugar coated. We're working on his diet. His doctor also revealed that they had to hide vegetables inside the president's food because his diet was so bad. Reports that Melania also had to get Trump to eat his broccoli by pretending it was a choo-choo train. They say that's unconfirmed. But yeah, I get it. He doesn't. He doesn't eat. Well, still keep going, though, right? He doesn't. And genes play a huge part. At the end of the day, the more we move, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't overeat, you work out a little bit. You find out in life that even with some genes that aren't great, you're going to overcome most of that and live a pretty decent, healthy, long life. And some people, no matter what they do, will not do that. And some people, no matter how bad they eat and live, may live to be 100. A lot of it's genes. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
China and Iran likely not fully reporting, and other countries may not be capable of reporting. But of the cases we do know, it appears that 3% cause critical disease, 15% cause severe symptoms.
Yeah. Are you ready for it? It's coming. So it is it a pandemic? People say, what's a pandemic? So that is when a pandemic essentially is when it spreads out over a large, vast area, including other countries and regions throughout the globe, that is transmitted from human to human to human. And in many cases, there is no patient zero that they can point to. It's coming. The reality is it is coming here. So be prepared, because, this is going to be something that, while not deadly here, as probably something like the flu. Let's remember that.
Those sensible measures we talk about every year with the flu are important steps that you can take. Cover your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze. Stay home when you're sick, and wash your hands.
Yeah, and by the way, the stay home when you're sick is, I think, really important, because so many people come into work or they underestimate what they have. Like, I didn't feel good last week, but it was a sinus infection, and I was out of the part where I was, anything. It started as a cold. I got it over the weekend. I felt fine, but it was affecting my nose and stuff. But there are people that they're dying. You could see, they had a fever. They're just a mess. A couple weeks ago. And I stayed at a hotel a couple weeks ago because I travel a lot, do my thing. And the person in front of me. So here I am in Phoenix and I live about an hour outside of town. So a couple, 2-3 nights a week, because I get up so early and then I work so late, I will stay in town. And the young lady in front of me was Chinese. She was absolutely pale as can be. She had a mask on and she was dripping sweat. And she had ASU stuff on her luggage. And one of the issues that we had somebody here at ASU who tested positive, who'd returned from China. And it was, you think it goes through your mind. I don't care what anybody says. It goes through your mind for a second. Do I think that we're going to have the pandemic that people are talking about? I do not. But when Trump comes out and he says we're going to have something in April, it should calm down, which is a possibility. But as far as how close we are to having some sort of vaccine, you're talking a year to 18 months before they're even ready to test it. They're just in the point now where they're starting to test certain things for this. But do I think it's going to kill hundreds of millions worldwide? I do not. Is it a disruptor? Well, that's something that's real.
Go down a mental checklist to make sure that you're ready. Reach out to some school contacts if you have children in school about any possible contingency plans that might include child care providers, and stock up on a few home supplies just so that you're not doing this at the last minute.
Yeah, because there's this thought process. Oh, it's coming here. It can't be stopped. Yeah, it's coming here. It can't be stopped. We'll deal with it as it comes, right? We're going to deal with it as it comes, and it's coming. But I don't think the big disruptor for us is on the financial side. 1,900 points lost in the last 2 days. Trump's going to get, he's going to stabilize the market, he hopes, with the press conference and everything. In the coming days and weeks, it's going to be interesting because it's the trickle-down effect of supply chains being cut off. Not because of a trade war, but because of not being able to get the factories up and running in China for fear that this thing's going to continue to grow. Those things will have the trickle-down effect in the economies globally by not be able, by small businesses, medium and even large businesses, not being able to get access to the things they need in a timely fashion, which will slow them down. On top of that, for people who do work globally and sell products in places like China and some of these other places, having a slowdown because you don't have access that you once had will slow down the economy as well. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter, kids. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from every single body. So last night, again, it was a battle royale of some sorts. And Bernie, man, he continues to double, triple, quadruple down on socialism.
You have a track record of expressing sympathy for socialist governments in Cuba and in Nicaragua. Can Americans trust that a democratic socialist president will not give authoritarians a free pass?
I have opposed authoritarianism all over the world. Of course, you have a dictatorship in Cuba. What I said is what Barack Obama said, that Cuba made progress on education. Yes, I think. Really?
Yeah. Really?
Really?
Yes, really. Really. It is. He continues to push that. And it's funny because when I was looking at some of his plans for how he's going to pay for everything, including capital gains tax, so he wants to tax it at normal income. Let's see how that goes. I mean, you want to do that, that's fine. Does that mean people before are going to pull out their money and move it elsewhere? It's a possibility, right? Does that mean that investment may slow down in businesses? Yeah, it's a possibility, right? He wants to add a death tax. You talk about Denmark and Sweden. They don't have a death tax. You talk about a lot of these things. And here's something for all those millennials out there who are loving Bernie because he's freeing up stuff. You're about ready in the next decade or two to have the largest transfer of wealth because your baby boomer family that you blame everything on are going to be passing away over the next decade or two, and they're going to be leaving you large amounts of money and homes that you're going to have to turn over half of it to the government. Is that insane? I mean, does anybody else find that insane? I'm just curious. So wait a minute. You buy something, you build something, you create something. Along the way, you're taxed on all of these things. And then when you die, the government's like, it wasn't enough. We'd like some more. I just find that to be nuts. I do. I've always thought that. And people are so concerned by other people's money. And I've never been that way. I have never, ever, ever been that way about other people's money. But, man, they are so concerned with that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You could tweet at me. You could text the program. Text your love. Text your hate. I'm good with it. So we do have a problem in this country that we need to address. And it's 6-year-olds. It's 6-year-olds who continue to do bad things and get arrested. Let's look back at some of these 6-year-olds who are in trouble.
A child's outburst in the Valley Forge Elementary kindergarten class drew a threat assessment and led to a police investigation we're told was initiated by the school district. The girl at the center of it all, 6-year-old Margot.
6-year-old Margot. 6-year-old Margot. 6-year-old Margot. By the way, Down syndrome, threat assessment, interviewed by the cops. Oh, yeah.
They argue Nadia should have never been placed under Florida's Baker Act, which allows authorities to force a psychiatric evaluation on anyone deemed a threat to themselves or others, including children.
If you can't deal with a 50-pound child, 6-year-old, then you shouldn't be in education.
Yeah. Well, guess what? We got a new one, and this one goes extra. Her name is Kyrol, and guess what? Not only was there a threat assessment, apparently, but it was to the point where they had to use zip ties on her.
No, I want handcuffs on. No, don't put handcuffs on. Please, I don't want to go to the police car.
You don't want to?
No. Please.
Yes.
Yeah. So zip ties. Zip ties, because I'm still trying to figure out what exactly this girl did that was so crazy. And you've got all these people in the school sitting around kind of looking. They're concerned, but they're not raising any questions that should be raised. One of them's like, do you really need to do that? But outside of that, nobody's saying, hey, hold on a second. Are we stepping over the line? Is it getting a little bit too much here? Maybe, just maybe, we could take a step back, right? Maybe, just maybe, little Kai here doesn't need to be arrested. Maybe. I'm throwing it out there, right? I'm throwing it out there. So she's sitting, listening to the school employee read her book when the two officers came in the room. So they wander in, and she's like, what's that? Oh, why are they here? They're here for you. And then that's when she started crying when they put those on. And then the arresting officer, if you will, and these officers are they're OPD, which is this kind of like, in school kind of police, and some of them are retired police officers. But listen to what this cat has to say about this little girl.
She would have been wearing regular handcuffs, but 6,000 people I've arrested. The youngest I've ever arrested was 7. 7 is the youngest. She's 8, isn't she? She's 6. Now she has broken the record.
Yeah. Now she's broken the record. What in God's name is wrong? I'm curious. So, first of all, the arresting officer violated the agencies, the Orlando Police Department's agencies. You're not allowed to arrest children under 12, which to do so, you have to have supervisor's approval, meaning somebody else that's above your pay grade needs to make this decision, right? That didn't happen. This little girl who her mom says she has trouble sleeping, she has bad sleep apnea, she's a little, I mean, I don't even know how many times in this day and age I would be in trouble based on my life looking back. But a 6-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, that guy's right. If you can't control a 50-pound 5-year-old or figure out something to do, maybe there's a new line of work for everybody. But when you've put teachers and people in positions where they cannot do anything but try to report this and follow this bizarre chain of command that takes common sense out of stuff, you get things like this, and you'll continue to do so. Watch out for those 6-year-olds. Woo! 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Beat Elite. So let's talk about my workout today. So I got up extra early, got up at 3, and I did an hour and 6-minute workout. I took my Beat Elite right before I did it. So about 20, 30 minutes before, and I feel it. Normally I was doing about 45 solid minutes, and now I'm pushing through in areas that I'm like, wow. Beat Elite has extended my endurance, improves my energy and stamina, and increases the oxygen delivery throughout the body, and that's why I love it. 4 ounces of water, a little bit of powder right into it, boom, shoot it down, and away you go. Big-time teams, big-time athletes across the globe do this. I have taken my workout and my playing soccer to another level. I'm feeling it. It's showing more and more every day. You will get results. Try it now. Go to livehuman.com/Chad. Get yourself this Beat Elite that you're going to love. 20% off. Feel the difference. Beat Elite. You will absolutely feel it. livehuman.com/Chad. Save yourself 20% right there. livehuman.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
For a long time, Netflix has given us vague categories, including trending now and popular on Netflix, with no real insight into what that means until now. The streaming service has introduced a top 10 list for both TV and film. On Tuesday, the top 3 shows are all Netflix original.
I am engaged to somebody I've never seen before.
The dating show Love is Blind at number 1, Narcos Mexico in 2nd, and Lock and Key in 3rd. The top 3 movies.
How did you find me?
Anne Hathaway and Ben Affleck's The Last Thing He Wanted in 1st, the 2017 Jackie Chan movie The Foreigner in 2nd, followed by the 2013 Marlon Wayans spoof A Haunted House. The list will be updated daily.
Wait, did I hear Marlon Wayans is on a list of shows that are like, no, this is, you know what? You know why Netflix probably doesn't want to produce this? Because they don't want to see that people have bizarre taste or no taste at all. I was thinking about this morning. How many of you out there like Limp Bizkit, right? Have you seen that Limp Bizkit commercial where the lady can't sell her car because it's like 2006 with like 200,000 miles on it, and it's got a CD that's stuck with only playing Limp Bizkit? And then Fred Durst is walking across the crosswalk with a bag of groceries, and he turns and looks. We're going to find out that people have bizarre taste in television shows. Like Haunted House with Marlon Wayans is on any kind of top 10 list is bizarre. Like, it's not even in his top 10 best movies list that he's ever done. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at me. Dem debate last night. Battle Royale. Kind of. Bloomberg did better. I thought Warren did worse. Klobuchar and Tom Steyer. Steyer's making some moves out there in South Carolina, which is bizarre, but he is. Klobuchar was not a factor at all. And I thought Buttigieg, to me, and Biden won the night, but I thought Bernie did what Bernie did. Now, for Biden, at least some good news that we've kind of been talking about here, but it's been made official.
I want the public to know that I'm voting for Joe Biden. South Carolinas should be voting for Joe Biden.
And this is James Clyburn, who is the most influential, probably politician in South Carolina. And Biden said, I don't care if I win by one vote or, more. It's just I need a win. And if he doesn't get the victory, if Bernie somehow wins out on Saturday in South Carolina, if that somehow happens, who's stopping him on Super Tuesday? California and Texas, he's probably going to win those, and those are the biggies. He's going to pick up most of the delegates. There's 1,357 up for grabs. If he's able to grab 800, 900, maybe 1,000, but let's say he gets 850, 9, you're starting to put it out there where you're over the halfway point, and nobody else is close to you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program. Check out the Instagram as well. Got some funny memes and stuff we put up on a daily basis. Go to thechadshow.com. Grab your podcast there. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I was disappointed with Bernie's answer on the socialism question. He had to know that was coming. There's no reason to do a big retrospective nostalgia scream fest about authoritarian regimes from the 70s. The opportunity for Bernie to clarify to the American people that when he says democratic socialism, that's the point. It's not that stuff from Cuba. It's not that stuff from the Soviet Union. It's the stuff that you see in Northern Europe that's working well for normal people, and they vote all the time. He failed to do that. It's what a big chunk of our party needs to hear from him, and he did not do it tonight.
No, he didn't. Van Jones is right. He had every opportunity to come out. And this is the other thing. Bernie's sticking to his guns because Bernie uses them in Northern Europe, the Scandinavian countries, who again they're not socialist. They have high taxation across the board that includes income tax and value-added tax on everything. But, and I'm pointing this out, it's not who Bernie is. Bernie lives and breathes these radical ideas. He loves it. The likes of Castro and Che Guevara and Hugo Chavez, all those people, the Soviet Union, when it was the Soviet Union, that's who he is. He doesn't want to be a free market capitalist society with high taxes. He wants the government to be the end all to be all. That's what he wants. Their safety nets are big in Europe, particularly the Scandinavian countries. Not very diverse there, by the way. Just want to let you guys know. Not a super diverse nation in Denmark and Norway. It's not super diverse. Right? It is not like uber diverse. Small enclaves that tried the socialism that he would like in some ways, and it about bankrupt the entire region. So they said, we're getting away from this stuff. Free market, we'll open stuff up. We'll have high taxations. We want to have safety nets. We want to make sure people have education. I am a person who is, look, I'm I say it. I'm a free agent. Wow me. Who wowed me last night? Pete Buttigieg. I like him. Right? But do I think he has enough right now to get it done? I don't know. Bernie has passion, and he has people that are activists who are emotionally tied to what he's saying, and so they're very much in a position right now to continue to build momentum heading into not only Saturday, but most importantly, Super Tuesday, 6 days from now. But Bernie looks more at what Hugo Chavez says. And every time I get somebody who's on the Bernie train, they always try to explain the same thing to me. No. You still understand. Hugo Chavez and all these, they just didn't do it right. They didn't do it right. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and not getting a different result. And that's what socialism brings you. Somebody said to me yesterday, because we to me, the most telling things that Bernie has said in the last several months when it comes to all of this stuff was about China.
I happen to believe in democracy, not authoritarianism. But, you can't say China is another example. All right. China is an authoritarian country. But can anyone deny that they have taken more people out of extreme poverty than any country in history? Do I get criticized because I say that's the truth? So that is the fact. End of discussion.
So Del Castro,
So he said that. And then somebody tweets at me and says, well, Chad, Bernie's trying to do something different, kind of like China did. I said, yeah, Bernie's running at all the bad parts of socialism. When China said, we can't have those bad parts here when it comes to the free market, if we don't have the free market, right? The closed market, which is what we have, we're not going to be able to survive. So instead of saying, well, look at what China's doing, right? Well, how did they raise all those people out of poverty? Just, I'm curious. Because they knew they had to. They knew they had to do something. Because they couldn't sustain that many people, holding that many people down and crushing their souls and taking away their freedoms and dignities and pay for it all. So what did they do? They said, well, we got to have some sort of free market. We need to give these people some freedom. And we're going to have to do it in such a way, too, where we can profit. Let's be more capitalistic. Let's be more free market. Let's open up the world to China, the marketplace, as well as us to produce goods for people. That's what they did. Bernie's not talking about that. Bernie's talking more and more about all the things that government should do. And I am not a fan of that. Sorry. I'm not. I'm not a fan at all. The government should be as far out of our lives as possible, taking care of the things that they're supposed to take care of, right? Not in your life every day. Shouldn't be the focal point of your life. That's what Bernie wants. Bernie doesn't want government to be there. Like it's like a referee. Like, you know who's a great referee? When you don't know who the referee is. That's what a great referee is. When you know who the referee is, because they make themselves part of something, that's not fun. That's what it is. He wants to be that. Not going to work. It isn't. It's never worked. It's not going to work.
Bernie Sanders' analysis is right. The difference is I don't like his solutions. I don't believe that a government takeover of large parts of the economy makes any sense for working people or for families. But we all know unchecked capitalism has failed. The answer is not for the government to take over the private sector, though. The answer is for us to break the corporate stranglehold on our government and have the government work for the people again.
Tom Steyer's right there. The problem with it is government doesn't want to give up what big corporations have, which is money, because they feed at the same trough as everybody else. And the last thing they want to do is to what? To cut off the nose and in many ways to spite their own face. They don't want to do that. They're addicted to the money. They're addicted to it. So you're telling a bunch of people who live, eat, and breathe their power and their place in the hierarchy as far as they're concerned and their fiefdoms that you need to give up your troth. Let's start to really look at this in a way. It's like, how can we have better capitalism, more free market? Make it a freer market. Stop with the insanities of the things that we have, the overreaching, arcing, not only government federally, but locally, and some of the insanity, because a lot of times what happens is people will go. They'll go to D.C. They'll go to their state capital, and they're lobbying on behalf of their business. And in many cases, to do what? To create barriers for other people to try to get into the marketplace. And how do you do that? You throw big dinners, you donate big money, you become pals. So what's the solution? Well, let's just have government run everything. No. Because once government runs everything, that's what they want, where you have to go to them for everything, for your health care, for everything. And health care is where it starts. Go read any great books when it comes to how do you take a free society and turn it into a socialistic society or a communistic society. What's the first thing they always talk about? Get control of health care. And make sure that you're the reason for being when it comes to health care. I've said all along, I'm fine with a private-public option. Give people the choice. Right? Give people the choice. That's great. But outlining the choice, sorry, not going to get into that. You're going to tell me now I have to go where? I can't go see this doctor. I've got to go see this doctor. I can't even pay for something out of my own pocket. I got to go here. No, I'll pass. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, get text the program as well. Wounded Paw, amazing organization. I was talking yesterday the other day to Ernesto, who is he says he's not the founder. He's the guy who put everything together. He says the founder of the company is Daisy, his dog, who's the dog he rescued that changed his life. Coming back, he was wounded, he was struggling, and he rescued a shelter dog named Daisy, and it changed everything. And that's when he got the idea, I need to do more of this to help the men and women who come home who are struggling with PTSD and injuries like me, and not just veterans, but first responders and their families as well. That's why he put it together. And right now they are growing fast, but they need your help. How about this? You can take action today and turn your extra car, truck, RV, even a boat into a vehicle for change. It really is. You get a great tax-deductible gift. Donating is super easy, and the proceeds will go to protect, advocate, and transform shelter dogs into service dogs for veterans, first responders, and their family. Check out woundedpawproject.org. See the amazing works they're doing. And the work they're doing is incredible. And he talked about it the other day. When he and I were chatting. They don't just take, oh, this looks like a nice dog. They take all kinds of dogs, even dogs that were once dogs that fought, even dogs that were once bait dogs, the hard cases, and how it changes and shapes those animals' lives and the people that receive them is amazing. Call them, 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729, or woundedpawproject.org. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Plea deal this.
Mueller, arrest me.
Chad will trade you 2 perjury charges for 1 collusion and throw in a reduced charge of obstruction for free.
Yeah, I'd do that.
For just listening to The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old intranet. What's trending? So much stuff. Let's start in the world of magical, super world of the Twitter. It's Wednesday, right? So you got a lot of hump day stuff, right? You've got coronavirus, not coronavirus. Trump tweeted it out earlier, so everybody's having fun with that, as you know. Maria Sharipova is retired at age 32. The wine cave debate going on. The wine cave debate, because supposedly that's where a lot of these, people get together in this wine cave and they all get handed millions and billions of dollars to run the world behind everybody. Oh, my goodness me. Ash Wednesday today. Johnny Cash, kids. Johnny Cash, Man in Black. This is his birthday. We'll celebrate that. Head on over to the world of Google. Ash Wednesday. Coronavirus symptoms. A lot of people are checking that out. Okay, what are the symptoms? What do I do? How do I know? What is it? What's it look like? How will I feel? Face mask. Have you seen Kate Hudson? People are like, she's criticized because she was wearing ineffective. There is no, the face mask that people use. So you see these people who wear the surgical masks, right? Those for this virus are ineffective because it is so small that it passes right through there, right? So that's what makes me laugh. But hey, if you're out there, have fun, get one, knock yourself out. Elizabeth Warren is surging today because, well, Native Americans are now urging her to address the Cherokee heritage question. More than 200 Cherokees and other Native Americans have signed a letter urging the Democratic presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren, to fully retract her past claims of being Native American and help dispel false beliefs held by many white people that they have American Indian ancestry. Wonder if she'll do that. Only if he releases his tax returns. That was her answer for everything last night. Oh, my God. That was totally her answer for everything. They come to her. They asked her one time. I tweeted out. They were asking her about how she would deal with China. And she went right into Bloomberg and his tax returns. She went right into Bloomberg, and I'm like, so you're dealing with China is you're like, Xi's the worst. He's awful. Get Bloomberg's tax returns. That's how we'll deal with it. That's what we're going to do. If you get that, we're on point. Okay. Oh, my Lord. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. So a brand new poll is out talking about stress and travel. And it's crazy. You ready for this? Air travel is uber stressful. According to 11 people who've flown commercial, it is very stressful. Like, stressful to the point of they'd rather go to things like the dentist or do spring cleaning or go to the DMV or do their taxes. And that's true. They asked people, what would you pay to improve the experience? What are you willing to pay? 63% said they'd pay an average of $88 to avoid a layover to get a direct flight. More legroom, 60% say $58. Avoid a delay, 42% say they pay $56. Skip the security line, which you can do. Go get your TSA pre-check. $46. Avoid waiting for baggage. 31% say they paid $45. And early boarding. All of these things you can purchase, by the way, by and large, right? You can usually figure out how to pay for a more expensive flight to avoid stopovers. Some cases you can't. More legroom, again, you can pay more money for it. Early boarding, many cases you can pay for more money for it. Skip the security line, get your TSA checkpoint, pass, a lot of things. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Let's do some math. Senator Sanders at one point said it was going to be $40 trillion, then it was 30, then it was 17. It's an incredible shrinking price tag. At some point has said it is unknowable to even see what the price tag would be. Now there are new numbers going. I'll tell you exactly what it adds up. It adds up to 4 more years of Donald Trump and the inability to get the Senate into Democratic hands. The time has come for us to stop acting like the presidency is the only office that matters. Not only is this a way to get Donald Trump reelected, we got a House to worry about. We got a Senate to worry about.
Boo! Yeah, he's absolutely right. That's Pete Buttigieg, who was a little bit more forceful. He's always on the ball. Dude never has a bad night. Never has a bad night. He's always on it, but he never has that night. He's consistent, but he's not cult of personality. Oh, my God. Like, wow. I have no doubt. Somebody said to me yesterday, who do you think really has a shot? Who would you not worry about if they were president? I said, I wouldn't worry too much about Biden. My continue to go back to my fear with Biden is his continual gaffes. Like, I had no idea about this. Did you guys know?
150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability. More than all the wars, including Vietnam, from that point on. Carnage on our street. And I want to tell you, if I'm elected and I'm coming for you and gun manufacturers, I'm going to take you on and I'm going to beat you.
First of all, what? 150 million. Does any, honestly, did you know that? Was anybody aware that these are the things? And I thought Biden had a good night, but the night before when he's like, I'm running for Senate, they're coming more and more frequently, and he has too many of these. It feels like a foggy moment. You don't have that with Bernie. You say a lot about Trump. You don't have that stuff with Trump. You don't have that stuff with Elizabeth Warren, who's also a bit older. You don't have that. With him, you have more and more of these. That's my worry with Bernie. With Pete Buttigieg, I have no worry if he was president. I don't think we're going to hell in a handbasket. I don't think tomorrow we're going to wake up and it's like, oh my God, rainbow flags everywhere. Guess what? Stop that crap. Just enough, right? Just like the people who thought, Trump was taking us to nuclear war and everything was over and all of it didn't happen. Obama didn't make us, everybody's going to have to be praying 5 times a day. Sharia law. Just, oh my God. Stop it. But he doesn't have that overwhelming night. And that's just it. Something about him is just, he doesn't have the it factor. He checks all the boxes. He's smart, right? He's served. He checks so many boxes. And at the same time, he doesn't have that cult of personality. And in this day and age, that is a much bigger thing than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. That's the reality of it. But he had a good night. He had a pretty damn good night, all things considered. I don't think, I put a poll up. You guys can go there, at Chad Benson Show. That's your Twitter. You can go there and check out all the wacky memes and the fun stuff we put up. We tweeted out a meme earlier. It was funny. Have you guys watched any of those? Was the Geico commercials with Pinocchio? I see so many people in this room who have potential. It's like one of those speaking things. His nose all. I put that up talking about the candidates. But I asked everybody, who do you think won last night? Right? Sanders, 14. Buttigieg, 14. They're dead even. Biden, 13. Other, 57.4. Right? Maybe you thought Steyer had a good night. Some people thought Trump had a good night. Some people thought Warren had a good night. Some people thought Bloomberg had a good night. Had a much better night. But a lot of people think Trump. And a lot of people who are Democrats think Trump. You know who didn't have a good night? The moderators were awful. And many of these debates, you will notice, if the moderators lose control, the wheels come off and things go sideways. How many times you guys watch sports? And in particular, a game like whether it's hockey or soccer or basketball, and the refs lose control of the game early. They let certain things go they shouldn't let go. So what ends up happening? The game just totally just unravels, and that's what happened last night. Nobody listened to moderators. They all talked over each other. They battled each other. It was a joke. Your moderators not only have to be stern and forward, always moving forward, going hard at each and every single one of these candidates as far as this is your time, this is when you stop. They're going to get in their extra 5 or 10 seconds. They shouldn't go on for a minute. And the second thing is you got to be able to hit people with good second questions. And too often last night, what happened is the good second questions came from the candidates themselves. So, was not a good night for CBS. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad Daybell is speaking. He is the husband of Lori Vallow, the missing Idaho kids. So, her kids are missing. 6-year-old adopted JJ and his 17-year-old sister. They've disappeared. Daybell's wife died. 2 weeks later, he marries Lori Vallow, whose husband died by being shot by her brother, who then 2 weeks after that mysteriously dies. They end up in Idaho. Nobody's seen the kids since September, and she's in jail. $5 million bond, not for murder, though. Child endangerment, neglect. There's cults. I mean, this thing has everything.
Chad Daybell breaking his silence to ABC News.
Is there anything that you would like to say to people at all who are, number one, concerned about the kids or concerned about you and your wife? Anything at all you want to say to them?
Just grateful for any support. We just have to wait for the legal process to work through.
Daybell refusing to answer questions about the whereabouts of his missing stepchildren.
Yeah, so nobody knows where they are. So then you've got a new twist because her niece is getting divorced. And the person, Brandon Boucher, I think his name is, I may or may not be pronouncing that right, says, hold on. She knows where the kids are. She knows where they are. In court affidavits about the divorce, saying not only does she know where the kids are, that they're part of a cult. They're obsessed with the end of the world. And this cult that this Lori and Chad and everybody seem to be involved with are absolutely killing people like flies. She believes that God has assigned her to carry out the work of the 144,000 at Christ's second coming in July of this year. She can no longer taste death, right? So she can't taste death anymore, she says. That's when her ex-husband or soon-to-be ex-husband filed for divorce, and she had lost the plot. Then you got this Chad Daybell guy who everybody said loved his wife, and then the next thing you know, he's telling everybody, I can't do the work that I need to do that I'm chosen for with my wife still being alive. And then she mysteriously dies. 2 weeks later, marries this lady, and it's craziness. Now, with all of that going on, all of that stuff happening, you've got this divorce, and in the divorce, they're saying, this my soon-to-be ex-wife, she knows everything about this cult, and they kill people. Now it's at the point where they believe the kids may or may not have been at Yellowstone, and they want to search there. The problem with that is because of the snow, they're going to have to wait till spring. And this Brandon Bordeaux guy or Bourgeois guy, whatever, he said his ex-wife Melanie, who is the niece, right, says, hey, you know what? These people are crazy. They shot at me at my home in Arizona. And these people are nuts. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you at this point in time where these kids are. Do I think it's a possibility that they're alive? Absolutely. Do I think it's a probability? Don't know. But I do know that there's a lot of creepiness going on here. There's a lot of cults, a lot of wackiness and weirdos. And I think at this point in time, though, you would probably say chances are none of these kids are alive. But it's not at this, it's not going away. I'll tell you that right now. At all. At all. He's not in jail, the husband, because they're not his kids. She is in jail. And again, there's no body, so it's not murder right now. It is child endangerment, abandonment, things of that nature. Speaking of horrible cases, this one got a lot of attention. And they're putting it behind him, but it isn't over by any means.
Appearing in a courtroom in San Juan this week, Salvatore Anello declined his right to a jury trial. He instead will have a hearing to change his plea to guilty of negligent homicide. Anello initially told authorities he did not know the window on the 11th floor of the Royal Caribbean cruise ship was open when he held his toddler granddaughter Chloe up in July. But Royal Caribbean claims Anello could be seen on video leaning out of that window before he picked the girl up. The family's attorney says the plea deal includes no jail time and no admission of facts.
Yeah, so they're suing. Horrible story. She fell to her death, and they said they just want to put this behind as fast as possible. There's no winner here whatsoever, and I'm still surprised that they went along with it. But it is an ugly, horrible situation. And look, there's portions of it where you look and go, okay, but she's there, and I'm surprised that any of those windows open, right? They have open windows in Vegas. I'm surprised that any of those windows open. And some of them are tinted, and this one wasn't. And that's one of the things that said, look, he's colorblind. He couldn't tell. They're saying, no, look, he held her up. There's some video. It's just ugly. It's just ugly. And a little girl lost her life, and Grandpa's going to have to live with that forever. And that's something he will never. He could live for another 50 years. Never, ever forget that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I go. Love working out. So I worked out early this morning, playing soccer later on tonight. And I continue to go. Thanks, Beat Elite. So I'm always looking for something natural, right? Give me a little bit of an edge. And Beat Elite, when they said, hey, Human called me and said, hey, would you be interested in this? I said, yeah. Let me try it out for a couple weeks, months. I just want to do it once. I'm going to try it. They send me some stuff. I started taking it. Next thing you know, I got people around the office taking it. They're like, can you get some more of this? I said, yeah. So what Beat Elite does, it helps extend your workout. So whether you're playing a sport or you're just going for just a hard workout, you'll see extending your endurance levels. Absolutely. Improve energy and stamina. Yeah, and it will increase oxygen throughout the body, that delivery system. It is awesome. So tonight, about a half an hour before I go play soccer, boom, I'll down 4 ounces of water, put the Beat Elite in there, it's powder, and away I go, and I will feel it. Do what hundreds of athletes and teams and clubs around the globe and colleges do. Get yourself Beat Elite. Feel the difference. Take your workout and your game to the next level. Go to livehuman.com/Chad. Save 20% off your first purchase. That's LIVEHUMAN.com/Chad. Livehuman.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
It's that time of year in sports, kids, where everybody gets together in Indianapolis and they stare at guys half naked, make them run, jump, do all kinds of things, have measurements like your hand size.
I think the only thing with the hands is if you have a lot of fumbles, and I didn't have a lot of fumbles, so I think it's a non-factor. I don't get paid to talk about measurements and analyze the measurements. I get paid to play football, so that's what I'm going to do.
So that's what we're going to do. That's Joe Burrow, the potential number one pick that everybody thinks the Bengals will use that pick to pick him, right? But, again, they're talking about hand size. This is how crazy this is. This is how much we love this sport.
Yeah, the hand size thing, it's a fun story. It gives you something to talk about. But certainly been around a lot of good quarterbacks that have had what people think are small hands, and they've been really effective in this league. And so there's no concerns about that stuff.
That's Zach Taylor. He's the coach. I'm not really worried about that. So ideally, you want to be about 10 inches, your hand size, right? Average person is probably 7 or 8. But so you want to be, so that way the football, you grip the football, because they're worried about that. Will it pop out, man? Will it pop out? What's going to happen? Pop, pop, pop. I don't know. He seems to do okay. Didn't have a lot of fumbles. Got a good head on his shoulders. So we'll see. On the other side, you got somebody like Tua Tagovailoa, who is awesome. The problem is he able to stay on the field, right? This is a kid who's just awesome, but it seems to be he's made of glass.
This rehab process has been it's been gradually getting, up as far as workouts with what we've been doing. So just strengthening all the parts around the hip, the glute, the hamstring, the quad. Just being able to be ready that once March 9th hits and we're cleared to go, then I'll be able to do everything.
Yeah, so he can't play right now. He was the favorite to potentially win the Heisman last year. He played for Alabama. Guy was he was efficient and awesome, but he continues to have a lot of questions when it comes to whether or not he's made of candy glass. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter and your Instagram. Just want everybody to understand. Anthony comes to me and says, Chad, did you know today was Inconvenience Yourself Day? You're like, what? Yeah. Celebrated on the fourth Wednesday in February. Now, if you don't know what it is, its goal or mission is not only to recognize a person's self-awareness in life, but also to acknowledge other people's lives and actions as well. It is an unofficial holiday because it's a stupid holiday. Selfless Day, if you want to do something like that, maybe. But today is Inconvenience Yourself Day. So just want everybody to understand that. If you have a chance in some way, shape, or form, make sure you go out of your way to inconvenience other people or yourself. And when they say something, say, look, today's Inconvenience Yourself Day. And they'll be like, oh, there's no cards for it yet. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Still no word on the coronavirus. It's here. It's growing. What will happen? What's it look like? What's a pandemic look like in America? It's a good question. It's inconvenient, I know that. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The idea that we haven't been kept well informed or people have not said, look, we're going to do our very best, but this is an unpredictable disease. This could spread at any time. These are not warnings that I just heard in the last 24 hours. These are things that your team has been telling us from the very beginning.
Tom Cole, HHS hearing, talking about the coronavirus, which is Trump's fault. I'm blaming Trump. Trump's getting the blame for it. Can't stop it.
When I hear people say, well, the president's done, it's too little and too late, I think, where have you been? We've been preparing for this, honestly, before this administration was here.
Yeah, of course. Like, there's always, here's the thing about something like this. It's very fluid. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what it could be. The impact to our country And there will be probably a potential, because they're saying it's not if, but when, and the when is coming sooner rather than later. It's going to be more of disruptions, uncomfortable situations with closing of some schools, potentially certain areas will, be quarantined. And that's still a ways away. I don't think it's happening tomorrow. Right? But this is definitely something that's also going to affect us, and we've seen it with the Dow. Well, there's been a bit of a rebound, and Trump coming out with this press conference and everything, I think is calming some things down, because we all know when it comes to the stock market in particular, they like to have everything nice and smooth.
There's an old saying here on Wall Street that traders hate uncertainty, and all the uncertainty surrounding this virus has really weighed heavily on stocks and investors' minds in the most recent days. In fact, in the last 2 days, we have seen more than $1.7 trillion wiped out of the U.S. stock market, and that has to do with the fact that there is still so many unknowns around this virus, around how it may or could be contained, about the impact that it will have if and when it comes here to the United States.
Yeah, and it is. And it is going to come here. And we've already seen it. A lot of the people that have it, and there's 45 that were repatriated, meaning they were elsewhere. They were sick. We brought them home, whether it was on the cruise ship or from China itself. And, it's the person to person is when it becomes a pandemic over a wide area. So the disruption that's coming is going to be from schools to the economy and several other things. So that's going to happen. That is going to happen. And, we'll prepare for that. I don't think we're going to have 50,000 people dying in the space of, several months, and the morgues are overused, and there's going to be mass graves. This isn't the flu epidemic, and we're a more modern society, and I think we can deal with it in a much better way. Places like Iran are having problems with it. While they have a small number of cases, they've got a higher fatality rate, right? How will Italy deal with it? I think they'll be fine. But there are places in Spain now, in Switzerland. How? There's no patient zero. How did this get here? Because that's when it becomes a pandemic. A wide group, wide area, person to person to person. But for us, the disruption, I think, is going to be economic. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. Last night, they debated it out. There were some winners, there were some losers. All in all, though, I think it was a push. I don't think anything changes. Clyburn coming out for Biden today, I think, is a helper for him. But I don't think it's a massive game changer in the sense that he's probably going to win much closer than people probably thought, say, 60 days ago. But I don't know if it changes Super Tuesday at all for him.
I want the public to know that I'm voting for Joe Biden. South Carolinas should be voting for Joe Biden.
So James Clyburn, the most influential politician and Democrat in South Carolina by far. And he's thrown some weight behind Joe. He did okay last night, Joe. I don't think, though, that anybody really, like Buttigieg, he's just steady as it comes, right? He's always getting B's and A's, but he's not getting that A+. He's not wowing. You know what to expect from him. Even last night when they asked, what's your motto? What are some things that people have a misconception of you about? It's kind of how they ended it. And the misconception part was that he was boring. There's not a lot of excitement, right? And he was good. But in one of the things I think that in this world of cult of personality, he struggles with, he is good. And in many cases, when he's delivering speeches and stuff, he's great. The problem with it is there doesn't seem to be the emotion behind it. And we react to emotion. That's how you sell things. That's why people buy things. That's how you get people to be activists. There's a reason they all tell stories. You're trying to evoke some sort of emotion from somebody. And because at times he seems so very clinical and sterile in his delivery, and it's just everything so smooth, it almost seems like he's acting out a part. And that maybe that emotion, you need, it's almost robotic at times. Where Bernie doesn't feel that way, right? Joe doesn't feel that way at all. You listen to some of them and you're like, okay, you seem like you're acting some stuff out. And again, I like Pete Buttigieg, but I understand why people don't get excited about him. Because he's very even-keeled. He's very, what you want? That's what you want from a quarterback, right? From a business leader. You want that even-keeledness in times of certain decision-making, and, you don't want to look over and see fear in the eyes or somebody crazy. There's a great story about Joe Montana in the Super Bowl when they were playing the Bengals. I think it was in Miami many moons ago. And they were down, a few minutes left in the game. They got the ball. They were deep in their own half. And everybody's just, the nerves are there, the whole 9 yards. And Joe Montana's sitting, inside the huddle, and everybody's huddling around him. And he's got the play, and he goes, "Oh my God, look over there!" And everybody looks. He goes, "That's John Candy. I love John Candy." Right? And they're like, "Okay." It just calmed. He was cool, not emotional though, right? Not emotional, and people like emotion, especially in politics. That's why Bernie does so well. He's able to get people to get behind his emotion because there's emotion behind everything he does.
Half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. 87 million Americans have no health insurance or are underinsured. 45 million people are struggling with student debt. 500,000 people tonight are sleeping out on the street, including 30,000 veterans. That is not an economy that's working for the American people. That's an economy working for the 1%.
Is your life worse? I mean, you listen to that, but you listen to him, and he's loud, and he's going at it, and then you listen to Mayor Pete, and it's just very matter of fact about stuff. I'm here to tell you that's not true. Same thing with Bloomberg. Bloomberg evokes no emotion, and by the way, he's awful at delivery. He's very just like in the middle of something, and then he. Then I'm like, what? Oh, we're done? Because we don't know. Because everybody continues to carry on. But there was a little bit last night with Pete, and I think that's why he did much better.
Guaranteeing health care to all people as a human right through a Medicare for all single-payer system.
I can't allow this to stand because it's just not true. Senator Sanders has got people believing something that is untrue about my campaign.
Yeah. But Senator, I can't allow that to be. But you listen to Bernie, and Bernie's loud. There's almost like an echo in his voice, and da-da-da, and I'm here. And it's an emotional thing. And it's good to have emotion sometimes, and that's the problem. We don't see that with some of these people. And in the world of cult of personality, you need to have some of that. And I think that's what's missing with him. And if he tried it, here's the other side of it, though, at this point in time. If he tried it, I feel like it would be disingenuous. So at this point in time, you've got to ask yourself, who makes the most sense? Not who evokes the most emotion. And most people out there, Bernie, all of his ideas sound amazing. I'm getting free. I'm going to add this up right now. So I'm getting free health care. Now, remember, there's a jobs program. That's free. Free college. Free, we got free pre-K. That's a lot of money. All that free is a lot. But it's emotional. That's what he gets people on. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Let me see if I can get emotional now. Let me see if I can do that. Talking about MyPillow. MyPillow makes towels that will wipe away sadness. Now they won't. But what they do make are amazing, super absorbent, soft, amazing, incredible, luxury-feeling look towels. So they got all the other stuff, right? The mattress toppers, the pillows, the sheets. They've got everything you can imagine. Now they have towels, 5 designer choices as far as colors go. Big, soft, 100% USA grown and made cotton. What's that mean? Well, what that means for you is there's no cheap softeners, no cheap fillers, none of that stuff. You get the best of the best. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee. Right now, the sets include 30 by 56 bath towels, 16 by 30 hand towels, and washcloths. And for a limited time introductory offer, you're going to get 30% off right now. Go to MyPillow.com. There's a new radio listener special. Click, type in code Benson, save 30% and get your 60-day money-back guarantee. They're putting their money where their towel is, if you will. It's MyPillow.com, new radio listener special. Type in code Benson, B-E-N-S-O-N, or call 800-983-4975 and use code Benson to save big. Chad Benson Show.
Take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
California parent Michelle Genaves, whose family came up with the popular frozen food Hot Pockets, sentenced to 5 months in prison for her role in the college admissions scandal. Hot Pockets! Prosecutors saying that Genaves paid Rick Singer $100,000 to have a proctor correct both of her daughter's ACT exams and another $200,000 to have one of her daughters admitted to USC as a fake beach volleyball recruit. Genaves pleading guilty in October after previously pleading not guilty. She's charged with conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud as well as conspiracy to commit money laundering.
Yeah. So she's doing 5 months in the pokey. She's doing 5 months in the pokey. That's a while, right? That's a long time. I don't think she's going to, she'll probably spend 2-3 months in there and they'll release her. I still think some of these things are ridiculous. Take the money and put it to better use. Make them get out in the communities that struggle in underserved and many minority communities in getting kids into college and put these people's skills, talent, and know-how to work, but putting him in jail somehow. Speaking of jail.
A day after that bombshell guilty verdict, Harvey Weinstein hospitalized after experiencing heart palpitations. Corrections officers guarding the hospital room of the now convicted sex offender, who will soon head to the infamous Rikers Island. A spokesperson for Weinstein telling ABC News he is working with a prison consultant to prepare for what his life will be like behind bars.
I saw this movie. It was Kevin Hart and it was Will Ferrell, right? Was it called Get Hard or Try Hard or something like that, where he goes to prison consultant, which he's not, but it's kind of funny. He's going to Rikers Island. He's not going to, this isn't white collar crime. He's not going to Fluffy Prison USA where he's going to be playing tennis and, he's just, it's a cot full of rooms who are also people who are, well-to-do and got caught up in white collar. He's going to Rikers Island. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have an awful time. And I say, good riddance. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You could tweet us. Coronavirus, again, growing. We'll talk more about it. But Nancy Pelosi said this earlier.
Hopefully we can make up for the loss of time. But it'll have to have the professionals in place, the resources that are adequate, and not be using scare tactics about people coming back to our country.
I don't think it's scare tactics, right? Isn't that the whole reason that we worry about a pandemic in this day and age, right? Because we have the opportunity to go from point A to point B. But and this goes back to the situation where you raise, do you live by a world where, okay, look, let's see where most of the cases are coming from, right? Let's see where it's starting from, the origins of it, and we're not demonizing a people. We're being honest, but you can't do that, right? In this day and age of, we wouldn't want to look like we were un-PC and not woke. We'll let, people come on over here, but you're getting pilots and people say, no, we don't fly there. We don't want to go there, right? Just because we're being smart about it. That's it. But everybody can find a way to, we're using scare tactics now. I just think it's being honest. That's it. Can't do it. But we're being honest. But I know, but it hurts feelings. Okay, do you want hurt feelings or do you want a massive respiratory failure? Which would you prefer? Those are my choices. Those are your choices. Many of them are like, give me the respiratory failure. I'm okay with hurt feelings, by the way. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but respiratory failure will kill you. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. More from the debate, more about the coronavirus. It's very corona-y. Very much so. And 6-year-olds, very dangerous. What? Mm-hmm. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
China and Iran likely not fully reporting, and other countries may not be capable of reporting. But of the cases we do know, it appears that 3% cause critical disease, 15% cause severe symptoms.
Yeah. Are you ready for it? It's coming. So it is it a pandemic? People say, what's a pandemic? So that is when a pandemic essentially is when it spreads out over a large, vast area, including other countries and regions throughout the globe, that is transmitted from human to human to human. And in many cases, there is no patient zero that they can point to. It's coming. The reality is it is coming here. So be prepared, because, this is going to be something that, while not deadly here, as probably something like the flu, let's remember that.
Those sensible measures we talk about every year with the flu are important steps that you can take. Cover your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze. Stay home when you're sick, and wash your hands.
Yeah, and by the way, the stay home when you're sick is, I think, really important, because so many people come into work or they underestimate what they have. Like, I didn't feel good last week, but it was a sinus infection, and I was out of the part where I was, anything. It started as a cold. I got it over the weekend. I felt fine, but it was affecting my nose and stuff. But there are people that, like, they're dying. You could see, they got a fever. They're just a mess. A couple weeks ago, and this is I stayed at a hotel a couple weeks ago because I travel a lot, do my thing, and the person in front of me. So here I am in Phoenix, and I live about an hour outside of town. So a couple, 2-3 nights a week, because I get up so early and then I work so late, I will stay in town. And the young lady in front of me was Chinese. She was absolutely, like, pale as can be. She had a mask on and she was dripping sweat. And she had ASU stuff on her luggage. And one of the issues that we had somebody here at ASU who tested positive, who'd returned from China. And it was, you think it goes through your mind. I don't care what anybody says. It goes through your mind for a second. Do I think that we're going to have the pandemic that people are talking about? I do not. But when Trump comes out and he says we're going to have something in April, it should calm down, which is a possibility. But as far as how close we are to having some sort of vaccine, you're talking a year to 18 months before they're even ready to test it. They're just in the point now where they're starting to test certain things for this. But do I think it's going to kill hundreds of millions worldwide? I do not. Is it a disruptor? Well, that's something that's real.
Go down a mental checklist to make sure that you're ready. Reach out to some school contacts if you have children in school about any possible contingency plans that might include child care providers, and stock up on a few home supplies just so that you're not doing this at the last minute.
Yeah, because there's this thought process. Oh, it's coming here. It can't be stopped. Yeah, it's coming here. It can't be stopped. We'll deal with it as it comes, right? We're going to deal with it as it comes, and it's coming. But I don't think the big disruptor for us is on the financial side. 1,900 points lost in the last 2 days. Trump's going to get, he's going to stabilize the market, he hopes, with the press conference and everything. In the coming days and weeks, it's going to be interesting because it's the trickle-down effect of supply chains being cut off, not because of a trade war, but because of not being able to get the factories up and running in China for fear that this thing's going to continue to grow. Those things will have the trickle-down effect in the economies globally by not be able, by small businesses, medium and even large businesses, not being able to get access to the things they need in a timely fashion, which will slow them down. On top of that, for people who do work globally and sell products in places like China and some of these other places, having a slowdown because you don't have access that you once had will slow down the economy as well. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter, kids. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from every single body. So last night, again, it was a battle royale of some sorts. And Bernie, man, he continues to double, triple, quadruple down on socialism.
You have a track record of expressing sympathy for socialist governments in Cuba and in Nicaragua. Can Americans trust that a democratic socialist president will not give authoritarians a free pass?
I have opposed authoritarianism all over the world. Of course, you have a dictatorship in Cuba. What I said is what Barack Obama said, that Cuba made progress on education. Yes, I think. Really?
Yeah. Really?
Really?
Yes, really. Really. It is. He continues to push that. And it's funny because when I was looking at some of his plans for how he's going to pay for everything, including capital gains tax, so he wants to tax it at normal income. Let's see how that goes. I mean, you want to do that, that's fine. Does that mean people before are going to pull out their money and move it elsewhere? It's a possibility, right? Does that mean that investment may slow down in businesses? Yeah, it's a possibility, right? He wants to add a death tax. You talk about Denmark and Sweden. They don't have a death tax. You talk about a lot of these things. And here's something for all those millennials out there who are loving Bernie because he's freeing up stuff. You're about ready in the next decade or two to have the largest transfer of wealth because your baby boomer family that you blame everything on are going to be passing away over the next decade or two, and they're going to be leaving you large amounts of money and homes that you're going to have to turn over half of it to the government. Is that insane? I mean, does anybody else find that insane? I'm just curious. So wait a minute. You buy something, you build something, you create something. Along the way, you're taxed on all of these things. And then when you die, the government's like, it wasn't enough. We'd like some more. I just find that to be nuts. I do. I've always thought that. And people are so concerned by other people's money, and I've never been that way. I have never, ever, ever been that way about other people's money. But, man, they are so concerned with that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. You can text the program. Text your love. Text your hate. I'm good with it. So we do have a problem in this country that we need to address, and it's 6-year-olds. It's 6-year-olds who continue to do bad things and get arrested. Let's look back at some of these 6-year-olds who are in trouble.
A child's outburst in the Valley Forge Elementary kindergarten class drew a threat assessment and led to a police investigation we're told was initiated by the school district. The girl at the center of it all, 6-year-old Margot.
6-year-old Margot. 6-year-old Margot. 6-year-old Margot. By the way, Down syndrome, threat assessment, interviewed by the cops. Oh, yeah.
They argue Nadia should have never been placed under Florida's Baker Act, which allows authorities to force a psychiatric evaluation on anyone deemed a threat to themselves or others, including children.
If you can't deal with a 50-pound child, 6-year-old, then you shouldn't be in education.
Yeah. Well, guess what? We got a new one, and this one goes extra. Her name is Kyrol, and guess what? Not only was there a threat assessment, apparently, but it was to the point where they had to use zip ties on her.
No, I want handcuffs on. No, don't put handcuffs on. I don't want to go to the police car.
You don't want to?
No. Please.
Yes.
Yeah. So zip ties. Zip ties, because I'm still trying to figure out what exactly this girl did that was so crazy. And you've got all these people in the school sitting around kind of looking. They're concerned, but they're not raising any questions that should be raised. One of them's like, do you really need to do that? But outside of that, nobody's saying, hey, hold on a second. Are we stepping over the line? Is it getting a little bit too much here? Maybe, just maybe, we could take a step back, right? Maybe, just maybe, little Kai here doesn't need to be arrested. Maybe. I'm throwing it out there, right? I'm throwing it out there. So she's sitting, listening to the school employee read her book when the two officers came in the room. So they wander in, and she's like, what's that? Oh, why are they here? They're here for you. And then that's when she started crying when they put those on. And then the arresting officer, if you will, and these officers are they're OPD, which is this kind of like, in school kind of police, and some of them are retired police officers. But listen to what this cat has to say about this little girl.
Bigger, she would have been wearing regular handcuffs, but 6,000 people I've arrested. The youngest I've ever arrested was 7. 7 is the youngest. She's 8, isn't she? She's 6. Now she has broken the record.
Yeah. Now she's broken the record. What in God's name is wrong? I'm curious. So, first of all, the arresting officer violated the agencies, the Orlando Police Department's agencies. You're not allowed to arrest children under 12, which to do so, you have to have supervisor's approval, meaning somebody else that's above your pay grade needs to make this decision, right? That didn't happen. This little girl, who her mom says she has trouble sleeping, she has bad sleep apnea, she's a little, I don't even know how many times in this day and age I would be in trouble based on my life looking back. But a 6-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, that guy's right. If you can't control a 50-pound 5-year-old or figure out something to do, maybe there's a new line of work for everybody. But when you've put teachers and people in positions where they cannot do anything but try to report this and follow this bizarre chain of command that takes common sense out of stuff, you get things like this, and you'll continue to do so. Watch out for those 6-year-olds. Woo! 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Beat Elite. So let's talk about my workout today. So I got up extra early, got up at 3, and I did an hour and 6-minute workout. I took my Beat Elite right before I did it. So about 20, 30 minutes before, and I feel it. Normally I was doing about 45 solid minutes, and now I'm pushing through in areas that I'm like, wow. Beat Elite has extended my endurance, improves my energy and stamina, and increases the oxygen delivery throughout the body, and that's why I love it. 4 ounces of water, a little bit of powder right into it, boom, shoot it down, and away you go. Big-time teams, big-time athletes across the globe do this. I have taken my workout and my playing soccer to another level. I'm feeling it. It's showing more and more every day. You will get results. Try it now. Go to livehuman.com/Chad. Get yourself this Beat Elite that you're going to love. 20% off. Feel the difference. Beat Elite. You will absolutely feel it. livehuman.com/Chad. Save yourself 20% right there. livehuman.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
No need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader? Fui. Fui, fui, and double fui.
What is your language? This is a family show, remember?
Who is the family too?
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
So there's an age-old debate. Is it a GIF or is it a GIF? Right? Is it a GIF or is it a GIF? That's an age-old debate. People look at it. GIF. Is it a GIF? Is it a GIF? What does GIF even stand for? Graphics, interchange, format. That's those like, you'll see a little picture and it'll do something. That's a GIF. GIF is a peanut butter. And that age-old debate is being answered.
Question of the 21st century, is it GIF or is it GIF?
How do you pronounce this?
GIF.
How do you pronounce this?
I'm going to say GIF, but people do say GIF. I'm going to say GIF. That's what I've always called it.
I want to say GIF.
GIF? GIF?
GIF. GIF. You're confident?
Yes.
GIF.
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 Are you sure?
No, but I'm going to go with that.
It is GIF. Not Jif. Jif is a peanut butter. In fact, you can now get peanut butter GIF Jif. That's right. Peanut butter GIF Jif. Jif on one side, GIF on the other. Right? GIF, Jif, Jif, GIF. Simple, easy. It is GIF and Jif. It says on it, GIF, animated looping images. Jif, creamy peanut butter. We have settled that now. God bless us all. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. Man, we got you over the hump today. By the way, apparently American universities that have kids in Italy that are studying abroad have all been recalled now. They say they don't expect there to be any issues or for people that are abroad in some of these universities to be under, any kind of fear of catching anything. They're just being very precautious. So we'll see. We'll see. The markets, again, that's going to be over the next couple days telling to see what happens there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream is amazing. Now, it won't stop you from getting the coronavirus, but it will stop you from overpaying. 20% APR is the average rate. That is insane. With a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream, you're looking at 5.95% APR with autopay. Boom! That's how low the rates are. $5,000 to $100,000. That's what you can get a loan for. And get ready for this. There are no fees. You can even get your money's released the same day. Do what so many people are doing, and it is so easy. You can do it right from your phone. So many listeners and people tweet at me, tell me how easy it was. You can be that person, and just for being my listeners, you're going to save as well. A special interest rate discount. Lightstream.com/Benson, LIGHTSTREAM.com/Benson. Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.50% auto-pay discount. Terms and conditions apply. Offers subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Benson for more information. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your hump day. Do it again tomorrow. As always, night, Jack.
Chad Benson Show.